Now, this time we want to look at key features. We want to look at key features of functions. And we want to focus on those key features that are related to the domain. So remember, the domain is a set of X values. Now, so if we're going to look at the key features that are related to the domain, we must be focusing on that blue line, okay? We must be focusing on that blue line. Don't look at that green line. Okay, so for any graph, there are two ends. There are two ends, okay? So because our focus is on the blue line, we want to do broken lines from each end to the blue line. There's some function that will go forever, and we'll call that negative infinity and positive infinity, okay? But this one, we start and we stop. So we start right there and we stop, okay? So this one is not going on and on and on. This is, so that's very interesting, okay? So here from this end, broken line to the x-axis, let us see what number that could be. So I think this is -1. So this must be -2. Okay, so the graph starts from -2. Okay, and then you put your comma. And then the next one now, let me use a different color, broken line. And that looks like +2. So it starts from -2 and it ends at +2. Okay, you realize that the ends are shaded. Okay, so we use brackets. It means that we're including -2. So if we're looking at the possible values, okay, it would be -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so but we normally present the n numbers, and we must bear in mind we have to take into consideration the numbers within. These are the numbers within. Okay, cool. All right. So basically, that would be the domain. If we want to write the domain in terms of inequality, okay, it's going to be similar. So we're going to have -2, and inside we're going to put x, and we're going to have 2. And I've been saying to you guys that it will always be like this. But because we want to include -2, we have to say equal, and this one equal. Okay, so that is basically my domain from -2 to +2. Okay, all right. The x-intercept, it's a piece of the domain. It's a piece of the domain. So there you see the entire graph, but we want to look at the piece of the graph that is related to the x-axis. Okay, so your x-intercept is where the graph touches the x-axis. That's the blue line. So let me clear all of this. So, boop, it touches the x-axis, 1, 2. Okay, so we could estimate negative. That's -1. So we could say about almost -1.4. Okay, just somewhere along that line, or 1.6. The general idea is just to, is just to identify your x-intercept. Okay, if you want to say 0.5, I'm okay with that. You know, it's just and the next one is almost, so I would, it seems like it's a little bit more than 0.5. So I could say 0.6. Okay, so we're saying that our x-intercept, x equals negative 1.5 and x equals 0.6. That's a piece of the graph. That's a section of the graph that touches the x-axis. Okay. Cool. All right. Let us clear that. No, we don't. Yeah, let us clear that information. Okay, let us move on to the next question. All right. So once again, remember, these are the key features that are related to the domain, which is a set of x values. So my focus should be on the x-axis. Okay. So here we're looking at increasing and decreasing. Okay. So what we're going to do, increasing means the graph is going up. So I'm going to highlight the section of the graph that is going up. Okay. All right, another section where it's going up. So there's two sections on the graph where it is increasing. Okay, cool. So this is basically a piece of the graph. Okay, that is increasing. So the big question is that for what values of x, f of x is increasing or decreasing. So it is saying, what are the x numbers that cause the graph to go up or go down? So let us first look at this piece. So we have to take broken line, okay, right, and broken line. Okay, cool. All right, so remember there was an arrow on this graph. Okay, so this x, the fact that we have the arrow for your x values, it would be forever. Okay, so this is the length. This is a domain that represent increase. Okay, so let me show you how to write your answer. So it's negative infinity up to, okay, let me, so you can see this, to negative 3. Okay, because negative 3 would be right here. Because the ordered pair said negative 3, 512, a very big number. But we're not concerned about the y value. Our concern is about the x value. Okay, and not include. Okay, cool. All right. The next one now, increasing, it starts from negative, no, it's positive 5. And the graph is going forever. Okay. So that's it. Now the decrease in one place, there's only one place, and I'm going to highlight that section of the graph where it is decreasing. So let us see where it started from, negative 3 and up to 5. Okay, so the blue would represent increase. So the blue information would represent increase, and the green would represent decrease. Okay, so I'm going to write it beside it. So this is increase represented by, and that's the piece, and this one increase, and then this in the middle, that is decrease. Okay. Now in the future, I will show you how to combine the increase information. Okay, so that is done. Okay, so we do not look at the domain for this graph. At this end, it is forever. At this one, it's forever. So the domain, let me clear all of this. So the domain from this end, it goes on and on. Okay, on and on. So at this end, it's negative infinity. And at the other end, it's positive infinity. So the domain would be from negative, oh, that's 8. No. So the domain would be negative infinity to positive infinity. In other words, all real numbers, all positive numbers, all real numbers. Okay, all positive numbers, all negative numbers. Okay, cool. All right, let us see if we can do the final one. Okay, cool. So this one is positive and negative graph, still related to the domain. Okay, your x values. So let me draw that. So you need to focus on this line. Okay, don't focus on the y-axis. Okay, in another class, we will look at the key features that are related to the y-axis. Okay, so what would be the domain? All right, look at broken line. But guess what? The graph on this side is going forever, on the other side is going forever. So it's negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, cool. Now let us look at positive and negative graph. So positive graph, the piece or pieces of the graph above y equals 0. Y equals 0 is the same as your x-axis. So any section of the graph that is above the x-axis. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to use yellow. Okay, that is above. That is above. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to write information. It starts from 2. So we say 2. Okay, and this is going on and on. So we said positive infinity. And this one, it starts from negative infinity up to 0. Okay. Now we want to look at negative. Okay, negative, the graph is below y equals 0. And remember, y equals 0 is the same as your x-axis. Okay, so which color is that? Pink? Yeah, I'm going to call it pink. Okay, so from pink, it would be below is from 0 to 2. Okay, so I'm going to label this stuff now, guys. So this is positive. That is above the x-axis. And this is also positive. Okay, above the x-axis and below it's negative. Okay. And let me break it down a bit for you. You know that this is 0. And above 0 is positive. But below 0 is negative. Okay, so those are some key features of a graph that is related to the domain. Okay, take care.